Grand Rising Woo family. Come in, come in, come in. Grand Rising Woo family. Come in, come in, come in. Martine Lissa Malivers here with you today. Our session is entitled Roleplay Part 1A, because Part 1 was just so juicy. We needed a 1A, a woman's work. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, Zoom. As always, please come into this space with open hearts, open minds. We might be a little triggered this morning. Might be a little hot debate going on. Because you know I like to get provocative. So bring open mind, open heart, open ears. Let's listen with understanding. Let's speak to be understood. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Roleplay Part 1A, A Woman's Work. What y'all sipping on this morning? I have my coffee, as usual, alkaline water to offset the acidity of the coffee. Good morning, Doreen. Good morning, Purple. Let me see who else I have here in the space.
Good morning.
There we go. Let me see who we have here. Good morning, Tanine.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, Abimbola. Good morning, Adam.
Good morning, Martine. How you doing this morning?
I'm okay. I'm hanging in there. Good morning, Imani. Purple is drinking mango green tea. Good morning, Facebook. Let's get into it.
Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. We're healing, we're dealing, we're growing. Together, releasing. We're teaching, we're moving. Together, we're learning, discerning. We're striving. Together, we're leading, connecting, transforming. Together.
Grand Risings, Woo family. For those of you who don't know, my name is Martine Lissa Malivers, aka the Change Maker. My purpose is to gain consensus in identifying toxic norms and replacing them with healthy new norms through engaging in creative programming for the betterment of society. I'm also a research nurse at the #1 heart center in the nation here in Houston, Texas. I'm from New York, but I live in Houston, been here for 13 semi-happy years. And I'm also the founder of Touch the Rebellion. We aim to teach the public about the prevalence of child sexual abuse, as well as preventative measures against it, okay? And almost all my sessions tie into that, because child sexual abuse is as old as time, and it is the result of many societal ailments. Okay, so today, the name of the session is Role Play, Part 1A. We had to do a 1A because Part 1 was so provocative and juicy. A woman's work. Last time we talked about the modern woman and how she is sometimes challenged by traditional gender roles. We also discussed the perception that both society and her community has on her, depending on factors such as race, parental status, and marital status. Today, I want us to come together and try to identify the root of all of this. I also want to talk about the many advancements women in general have made, as well as disparities that still exist, okay, that adversely affect women. Let's go to the second slide, excuse me. So in true changemaker fashion, I always start off my sessions identifying a toxic norm and offering the community a replacement with what I would consider a healthy norm, okay? So this is the same one as last time. Gender-based roles have superseded the unique talents of the individual and driven societal standards that hinder potentiality and self-actualization. Can somebody tell me what they think I mean by that? Especially if you were here last time. Do we have any hands? I can't see anybody. Let me bring you guys up on here too. Anybody?
Since all of the roles that women tend to play that are stereotypical and enforced upon them, that are probably subservient, would come to mind as a gender-based role that have superseded our talents as women. That would come to mind. So any of those roles of it, funny enough, being a mother, being a caretaker, being a wife, all of those kind of bring a burden of those more than taking care of self. That comes to mind. Hope that helps.
Okay, so wait, don't go away yet. Good morning, Kennedy, sister. I haven't seen you in so long. Good to see you. So what about the potentiality and self-actualization part? I want you to take what you said a little bit further, because so that we really understand the impact that sometimes roles have on our brilliance.
Without a doubt, I can use a personal example of being kind of stuck in the role of being a mother, and only a mother for the 17 years of the experience. And so I stopped my own self actualization in order to focus solely on the child, to my detriment. So I think that a balance is always necessary, and if you're not conscious and aware of that, that you can limit your own actualization in the process of playing that expected role.
Okay. And for those of us who may not be familiar with self-actualization, that term, it is the complete realization. Sometimes we think of the word realize means, oh, we discovered something, but to make a reality, the complete realization of one's potential as manifest in peak experiences, which involve the full development of one's abilities and appreciation for life. Okay, that's Maslow's definition of self-actualization. Okay, and Candace, I'm going to call on you again. Do you feel that motherhood requires that level of sacrifice? And do you feel that it's possible to be a good mother, whatever that means to the person, a good mother and reach self-actualization?
It probably, of course, is possible, but it takes a lot of support and awareness, I think, to be able to complete both at the same time.
Well, we perhaps are making it impossible, but it is possible.
Of course, it's possible.
Okay. I hope you receive that, community. All right. Thank you, Candace. All right. Let's bring that slide back up again and let's go over my offering, which I don't remember what it is. So I need to see what the slide is. No. Let's go back to the other slide. Oh, you're starting stuff for early in the game. So the change I would like to see is flexibility in roles imposed by society to accommodate for individuality, changing situations, and that reward all and compensate all equally. Okay, so we're going to go over disparities, and we're going to go. I really hope that, just as you know, I want to change the world, but I want to start with Woo, because I love y'all. I feel so safe here. I feel like I can test out all my ideas on you, and I get as much, if not more, from you guys than I give you when I come here. I really, really want you to know how much I value you. So flexibility in roles, because I'm going to share my personal opinions with you, and I want you to share yours with me. But I do believe that gender roles, they're there for a reason. Hopefully, you know, they consider our nature, right? We are the ones who bear children. But there's some women who bear children and the father is the better parent. So I also want flexibility to bring in everybody's uniqueness and individuality. Do we get that, community? Okay. Now, let's go back to where we left off last time. We didn't really leave off here, but we couldn't really get any further either. And that is the image that I shared with you all and asked you to journal about. I don't know if anybody remembers. And so let's bring up that image. And can I have one person, first person to put their hand up, kind of tell me what your experience was last time if you were here and what you felt, everything you felt. We're going to be brutally honest this morning. Any takers? I need y'all to engage me this morning. What's going on? Admin, we have nobody?
There's no hands raised.
No, not yet.
Listen, I'm gonna call on somebody if y'all want to get it started. I'm not feeling the love this morning.
So Z says she thinks that it should be dismantled, the statue. Z, do you want to come off mute and share a little bit more about that? Z, you there? Oh, you're unmuted, but we can't hear you. All right, we'll come back. I see that you are unmuted, but we can't hear you in this space.
Yeah, she might not be fully connected. I'm not sure. I can't ask her to start video.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
All right, so tell us a little bit more about how you're feeling regarding.
I personally feel it's the ultimate insult. Yeah, I can't really say a lot about it. It just triggers too many things for me to even.
You can, come on, tell us what you see. Just try one
Too
word.
much low vibration. I'm being kind and yeah. It should not, for me, it needs to be dismantled. It needs to be taken down. I can't abide it. I would not want, it distresses me that this is a way that someone feels about women.
Who is someone? Who do you think?
Whoever
feels this way?
created it, it looks like we're a beast of burden, and that's just not so.
So you don't feel that it's accurate.
It is some people's existence, but it's not something that should be celebrated. It's not something that should be.
Come on then, Z. It should be okay. So the things that you're seeing, let's talk to me. What do you see? Tell me what you see, first of all.
I see a beast of burden.
What is the burden?
The world and a whole bunch
Would you
of other
describe this as a woman's work?
No.
Okay, so because you're confusing me a little bit, because I thought you were saying, what I thought you were trying to say is that you don't like the representation and that you maybe like doing all these things. And that's why I'm telling you to tell me what you see. There's a washer machine, there are dishes, there's a child there, right? There's a laundry basket. This is housework. What else do you see?
I don't even want to see. I don't.
So is the inaccuracy in that this stuff is not a burden, or what's the inaccuracy?
If it were presenting a woman who's chosen to do all of this and do it as all right, so when my children were little, I did all of these things. I didn't do it like this.
You didn't do it like this. Okay.
And most of the people that I knew did not do it like this.
So you don't agree with the depiction of these roles. We'll leave it at that. Okay. So, Adam, you have your hand raised. I don't know, you guys are being really quiet, but this is going in a little, it's a different direction from the female perspective, because I feel like this is, you know, I'm not a fortune teller, but I feel like this is about to spill into whatever Adam is about to say. So tell us what you said last time, Adam. Tell us if you feel the same, and then whatever you were going to say by raising your hand.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Martine.
Good morning.
When you last showed that picture, I was saying that the universe doesn't work in a way where one person can do all the chores by themselves. And and the problem that most people have, that they're so stuck in individualism, in a sense where they don't need anyone to help them out. And so that picture is showing you that the universe is telling you otherwise, and it's humbling you, saying that you need people to work with you instead of you doing it by yourself. And I feel like some people are very arrogant when it comes to doing things by themselves. For instance, let's say that I want to start a business. I can't run the business by myself. I need certain teams and people in order for me to run that business fluently. And that picture is showing people that one person cannot do it by themselves. And I'm complete.
Okay. So do you guys see how I'm saying? I feel like what Zia is saying kind of meshes with what Adam is saying, because she's saying that that's not even her perspective, and maybe it's because she believed in community and that was not her experience, right? Who
We have Veronica.
Okay, Veronica. Good morning.
Good morning. When I look at that image, it makes me think of my life as a mother of 4, grandmother of 3. I've been to quite a few countries. One country that comes to mind is Senegal. When you walk the streets, you never see a man with a baby tied to his back. You never see a man in the market selling. And I used to ask that question because I stayed in this little town, and the men all looked well, they dressed well, and a lot of them did not have jobs, but the wives, and when I say wives, one man might have had a couple wives, they did all the washing, the cleaning, the cooking, the nurturing of the babies. And I compared my life to their lives, and I said, oh boy, I'm a beast of burden. And they are beasts of burden. And that's because we took on everything. We nursed the babies as they came out of our wombs. Our bodies were beasts of burden. My body was a beast of burden. My eldest child is going to be 50, and I feel I'm still a beast of burden. And so this woman who has all these things on her shoulder is just like any other woman that's poor or that lives wherever, any place in this world. We take on, in my opinion, take on all the things that are necessary for the survival of our children and our lives. And so it means that we have to get up in the morning and make breakfast. It doesn't mean we don't have to, but that was what was designated to us throughout the generations. Like I saw my grandmother get up and make coffee every morning in the little Dermitas cup and make it bubble and do all that stuff and strain it with a cloth and give us each a little cup of coffee. And then she kneaded her bread. And then she picked the grains out of the rice. And my grandmother literally worked from sun up to sun down. And I like the statue because it tells my story.
You like it?
I like it. I like it. I love it. I love it that, you know what? Women all over the world are beasts of burdens. Now, I don't love that we're beasts of burdens, but I love that somebody recognized me and that put that image out so that the world could see what we truly do in a day. Okay. And I am complete. And I thank you so much for that statue.
Okay.
Love you, Meryl. Love you, Martine.
Okay. I love you more. Thank you. Hey, we getting deep today. This is different. And Zakia, I'm so sorry. I saw that that you said that you were not complete. I apologize. Come on.
Hold on one second. I just want to clear for the community. Can we share what we mean beast of burden? Either you, the three of you have said it. Does anybody want to share what we mean?
I can say what a beast of burden is because I heard that term from my grandmother. That's why I brought her up. Is because if you ever lived in the Caribbean and you saw, I don't know what kind of animal it was. It had something hitched to it, and it was a bull or something, or it was a cow, or was whatever that pulled the thing as it pushed. It could be a donkey that was carrying a load that was 10 times the weight of itself. And the man was pushing the donkey or hitting it with a stick and making it move. It just had a burden. It was a beast of burden. It was an animal that bore a lot of stuff. And we women are animals and we are beasts of burden. And I don't know if I gave a good expression, but that's the way I heard it all my life.
Thank you so much, Veronica. I appreciate that.
So let's just note what we may find to be negative or low vibrational. Somebody else may take pride in it. The word burden, for instance, sacrifice, those are not always considered, well, burden I don't think is ever considered a high vibrational word, but some people take honor in that. And I know a lot of women. My auntie, for instance, she said, this is why you will never be married, Martine. It is her honor to serve, work a 12-hour day, come home, cook, and take care of home. Me, not so much. So, I mean, I'll do that, but I'm not working 12 hours and doing all of the housework. There has to be a little balance for me. So and she frowns upon me, and I respect her perspective. She doesn't respect mine, but I respect hers. Okay, Z, come back.
1 second, before we go there, let me read what's in the chat.
Okay.
And the expectation this is from Candace. The expectation is there that women will do the work. We are prepared from childhood to do all the work. Tanine says, I think the image is an accurate depiction of the symbolic role of a leading woman, a woman who is the womb burden. Okay. And the woman as the womb. That's her correction. Tanine says, she says, I think the image is an accurate depiction of the symbolic role. Okay, she's just, she added some different things. I think the image is an accurate depiction of the symbolic role of a leading woman, a woman who is the womb of creation. She is the heart of the home. She carries the burdens of the family. She does not assume a low position, but she is creating the quality of the family. But when the burdens become too heavy, she steps away. She allows everything to fall so she can fill her cup.
Okay, so Tanine, is this just a moment? The moment before she says, hey, I need to step away and refill?
Can you clarify that question?
I'm going by what you said. You said, but when the burdens become too heavy, she steps away. So I'm asking you, is the image when the burden is too heavy?
The image shows that the burden is heavy. There's a lot on her back. There's a lot that she has to consider every day and do. So the image to me shows that it's heavy, but it's bearable. But when it gets too heavy, she walks away and she just let it all fall because she has to take care of herself. She has to fill her own cup. So she has a balance. She loves what she does. She understands the burden, not from a low vibration, but a high vibration. It is her honor, but she understands the balance of life as well. She can only do as much as she can do before she breaks, basically. But she has enough because she's a leading role in her life. She knows when to step.
Okay. Thank you. Interesting. Okay, I want to go to Z now, no matter what, because I don't want to go too far. She wasn't complete. And I meshed what she said with Adam, and she said she doesn't exactly agree. So I don't want to, because we're bringing in some perspective today. Z, come on.
Okay, so where I disagree with Adam is that his perspective is that it's this way because she doesn't ask or want help. I don't believe that's the case. The women who do it because they believe it's their role and they look down on women who don't feel that way, it's the way they've been conditioned. I think if they had been taught that there should be balance, they would recognize that there should be balance. The challenge is that not only are the girls raised to do everything, the sons, the boys are raised that they don't have to do anything for the most part.
In some households, yeah.
Yeah, in many households, the boys are spoiled rotten. They don't have anything that they have to do. They don't contribute, and they carry that over to when they're grown. They expect that their female partners or partners, whether it's female or male. I can't imagine if you get two men who were raised that way being together. I have no idea what that kind of household would even look like. That'd be kind of scary, I think. But at any rate, my point is the way in this patriarchal society, the males have been raised and the females have been raised. This becomes the norm And it doesn't have to be like that. And but most women are also raised that they can't ask for help because this is what they're supposed to do.
Right. And they're
You
less
know,
than if they
and then
can't.
their female children see that and think that's what they're supposed to do. Their male children see that and think that that's what they're supposed to do. And it continues.
Yeah.
I can't imagine, and I don't see, I love you, Tanine, but I don't see anything about that picture that indicates that she's going to break, but not because she's chosen to. She's going to break because that can't continue indefinitely. That's why so many women die young.
You don't have to preface that with I love you, Tanine. That's what art is, right? You guys, I'm amazed at what you guys are seeing. That's what art is. And it's kind of what I hate about art, because it's always like about what you see, but what did the artist intend? So two beautiful perspectives.
I do love her, and I appreciate her perspective. I just can't see how that woman in that image is going to do anything but fall apart, not by choice. I don't think she's gonna, I don't see that she would get up and fill her cup. I think she won't get up when she falls.
Okay.
Because all that stuff gonna fall on top of her.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Z. Are you complete? Because we need to move on. And I want to hear from
now
one
I'm
more
complete.
person. Okay, thank you. I want to hear from Purple. I saw she had her hand up. And then I want to move on.
Hey, good morning, family. You're always bringing it. Everybody's always bringing it, but you're always bringing it. So yeah, I might be a little in some feelings this morning about this image. I love the artwork. It was hard to look at. And I'm going to speak from the perspective of, I'm going to be real honest this morning, right?
Come on.
I've never been wed, quote unquote, right? Never been married. I've never birthed a child. And so from that role in the world, and now I'm in the same sex relationship, but for most of my time I wasn't, right? And so in my 20s and late 20s, coming with that resume, it's like, oh yeah, you a catch, you know, and then you start getting a little older and it's like, what's wrong with you? Right? And so that image right there, as my grandmother would say, and thank y'all for telling me what beast of bird it is, because she used to say that and I know what she's talking about. But as my grandmother would say, no ma'am. I looked at that image real early in life, was like, no ma'am. Now, I grew up in a non-traditional household, in my opinion, and my father said that he thinks he taught me like sexist stuff, and I didn't get the message that he thought he was delivering, because my father cooked and cleaned Monday through Friday and helped with the kids. Now, my mother on Sunday would do the main, housework. So I saw a balance. I didn't see that I had to do that. But the world and so many people really pull for that conversation. So I just rejected, guarded, was extremely selective. And they used to say that my standards were too high. Now, funny enough, even though I was a late bloomer, I can cook and clean and keep house and all of that. I don't lead with that on my resume. I won't tell somebody that's what I'm promising them to do. But what I want to point to on that image, and by the way, this is one of the reasons why I'm not a Beyonce fan. I know there's a lot of Beyonce fans, but I can't stand that song, Let Me Cater to You. And I went to college in the South, which really was where the debates happened. And I agree with what one of the sisters said earlier. I think people are socialized and will therefore judge you if you're not that woman. I know this is historic. I know my mother traveled a lot. And she told me one of the places she went in Africa, she was just so disturbed over seeing how much the women had to do. And I think it was like from jump, they had to carry her luggage. She was like, no, don't carry my luggage, make him do it. And I was like, Ma, you're other countries telling them stuff. And I had to explain it to her because she's not cultured in that way. She's a world traveler. She bring her everywhere, Now, what was challenging is after my parents broke up, they both got married. Shout out to Jackie. Yeah, I know that's my other mom. And so my mother's husband, his family's from the Caribbean. And I'm not going to say which island, because these stereotypes, I just don't believe that that's how all Caribbean men or all people are anyway, right? And I know everybody kept telling me, no, 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 that's how they are, that's how they are. And I'm like, oh, right? Because when you see your mother get with that, you're like, no. And he's from London. Like, he's born and raised in London. So all I tell people when it comes to my stepfather not getting along is we have cultural differences. That's how I'll frame it. Like, I don't mess with this man. And unfortunately, I watched my mother, I say unfortunately, but I don't know their marriage and their agreement. I watched her shift so much. And I'm not somebody that's like, oh, I want my parents to stay together forever. That wasn't it. I was fine with them being separated. But I didn't want her to go into that. And it literally was the extreme. And I never saw her.
Right. Yeah.
So I want to speak from, I know everybody's talking about the mother carrying that stuff, but look who's under the mom. It lands on the child. And y'all know I'm a youth advocate. And so what I would say is, while we out here talking about young people, while they listening to this, doing this, and they are buck wild right now, right? That, because look what lands on them. Look what lands on them. Look what the rap lyrics are really about. That right there. Because when that child looks up, that's what that child sees, their mom falling on them. All of the stuff falling on them, caving in on them. And then they get in survival mode and they become burden beast coming out.
Thank you. That's the perfect intro for what I'm about to get into. Thank you.
I'm complete. Thank you.
Thank you. First and foremost, I can totally relate. Never been married, never been a bridesmaid, never been proposed to. I don't even know these terms now. I'm heterosexual. I like men, but they don't like me. I've been told that I need to stop trying to be the man in the relationship. I already told you what my auntie's perception of me is. I do have a child, but I had my child late at 27. And that image for me, I'm so appreciative of your perspectives, because all I could see is everything I've been trying to avoid since a child. I grew up in a Caribbean household. My household was not a traditional Caribbean household. My dad did our hair, he did everything. But my friends' families, I just did not want to be like those women. And the only thing that I would say that I saw in my family, because my dad did help. My mom worked part-time, so she mostly took care of home, but I feel like she is brilliant. Both my parents have an 8th grade education, and they are just brilliant, brilliant people. My mother is so smart, and I feel like she was not able to reach her potential. So all of these affected me because, like you said, Purple, I'm that child up under my mother, and I've just tried to live my life trying to avoid it. But at the same time, I'm here. I'm pretty accomplished, maybe, right? But I'm alone and I want to be married and I want to be in love. And last time, listening to Adam, I asked everybody to come up. If you couldn't come up with a piece of writing after seeing that image, just come up with one word. And his word was arrogance. And it pissed a lot of us off. And though that word never came to mind, that perspective never came to mind for me, I could see what he meant. And I received it as nourishment. And I was able to dig deep and admit that I sometimes let ego lead and pile on more on myself than I need to, and then I play victim. I think he also used that word, so I don't want to put words in his mouth, but then we have the nerve to play victim, all in the name of claiming to be an independent woman, all in the name of claiming to not need no man, right? And that is a lot to unpack, because that didn't come from denying men who are faithful and caring for us. That came from men cheating, not taking care of home, not wanting to work, in my experience, right? And those are the men that I chose. So after hearing him express this, I really, really sat and thought about it. And that's what I'm asking of you guys today, okay? I would like to think that I'm able to submit. I'm able to allow the right man, a good man, to lead my household. I just have not yet to find him. But if I did find him, would I even know what to do with him? So I fill many roles because I believe that a true woman's work is to keep shit going by any means necessary. And I think that that's a lot of us, right? Even if we don't fill the role correctly, we're going to do it. It's going to get done. But to a fault, and maybe to levels that are toxic and blocking our blessings. That's just a thought. So where's the resolve? And what do we teach the children? because like Purple said, at the bottom of that pile, up under the mother, I mean, there are a lot of kids up under their fathers now too. You know, that's a great change. There are a lot of single fathers, but how is this affecting the children? I see Chantel's hand is up. I want to hear from you before I move on.
Yeah, this makes me think of who makes the plate. Do you make your man's plate at the party and the people that judge you if you don't and stuff like that? I see Purple's face like, ooh, I'm not making that plate. But those are like the traditional roles sometimes, and it makes me think about my father. And I think that sometimes he didn't think my mom was doing enough in the gender norms. And he would always remind me, you know, when you get older, you gotta be independent. You can't depend on a man and all of these things. And I felt bad for my mom, like she wasn't living up to these expectations. And then I became this woman listening to my dad, like I not need a man, but it's nice to have one. But you know, the men in my life, they were offended. They didn't like that I was so independent and that I was moving on my own. I had my own. And so it made them feel low vibrational being with me. But when I was in the same sex relationship, we were both very independent. Like, you know, we moved and we did things, we both cooked, but she took out the garbage. It was still some of those gender norms with that masculine energy versus, you know, the feminine energy. So it was a little bit of both for us. But I really just noticed that men felt a way when I was more so independent and didn't really need them for support. So that happens too.
It does. We about to get into it. Thank you, love.
Charmaine got her hand raised too. So now you stirring up stuff.
Come on, Charmaine. Ooh, the admins is in.
Thank you, Martine. And I just want to share that I, as a woman and being transparent, I can ask in my relationship, my husband does the cooking. I don't cook. I'll clean, I'll wash and do all of that. But there are times when I can, and I'm being transparent, and I'm going to use the word when I feel like being bitchy. There are times that I can make him feel guilty, or I can tell him, well, you know what? Well, I washed the clothes and put it there. Why the hell didn't you fold it up? And make him feel bad, making myself the victim for something that we have an agreement on. So I understand where Adam is coming from, that sometimes, not all women, but sometimes we can do that. I've done it with my son. Like, can you move the trash can, please? And if he didn't get up and move it when I told him to move it, oh, huff, puff, 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 and I get up and I move it my damn self. And now I'm huffing and puffing and I got the whole house upside down. But I created that and then played the victim role. You see, I asked you to do this and you didn't do A, B, C, D. That's why you're gonna get a good wife. So we have to look at the coin and we have to look at it in transparency. Yes, there are times that we can weaponize our loved ones and we then turn around and play the victim. And I'm complete.
A shame. All right, we getting somewhere today. Yes, yes, yes. So again, where is the resolve and what do we teach the children? So I'm going to go over some stats. They're a little bit everywhere. Just you guys get the points with the stats, right? You know, I love statistics. I'm a research nurse. As it stands, by about the age of 6, children start to limit themselves to what they can't or not yet, to what they can or can't do by gender. Okay. The little girl who wanted to be a truck driver switches to wanting to be a teacher at about the age 6 because she sees, oh, I can't be a truck driver. Men, that's a man's job. All right. The most popular choice for young girls is teacher. 75% of women still end up working within one of the 5 C's: cleaning, caring, catering, cashiering, clerical. Okay. 75%, and women will still make substantially less money than men, even when in higher positions, okay? More than 50% of young women feel they don't have enough positive female role models. 2 in 3 girls say they would consider training for a job usually held by the opposite sex if they had more hope, encouragement, and guidance. 76% would like to know more about how they could fill positions usually held by the opposite sex, okay? Lastly, studies show the importance of exposure to career paths. 8 in 10 women who started a business know someone personally who has. Contact with an adult in a profession significantly influences a child's desire to work in that area. So now this is just about career paths. Imagine what these children feel about home. When you tell your children they can be whatever they want to be, are you selling them a dream or are you actually paving a way for them? We do have to think about the children like this is, cycles. So let's break up some things. So in a general sense, now I'm not talking about the 2 female truck drivers or that female pilot in a general sense, do you think these statistics ring true in your personal experience? The children that you've come into contact with, the women that you come into contact with, are we really working within the 5 C's? Are we that limited today? What do you guys think? Because I just want to make sure that the information that I'm bringing to you hits home.
Yes, this is Doreen. I say yes.
Yeah, thank you, Doreen. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to do a check-in with you. We're going to do a poll. Now, I want you guys to you guys are going to say this poll is limited. Purple, the poll may be limited to you. If you feel like you can't, okay, I can't really answer this for me, then just don't complete it, right? And I say purple because Purple said that she was in a same-sex relationship. But I want you guys to think of this in a general sense. Don't bring in any outliers or exceptions, okay? I'm going to go over the poll questions as admin brings it up. The first question is, do you identify as a human being or as your gender first? Me, Martine, am I a female first or am I a human being first? Second, Chantel brought this into the space. Generally speaking, not, oh, if I'm tired, if my ankle is broke, generally speaking, at the barbecue, okay? We're in community. Everybody's watching our relationship. Whose role is it to make the plate? Whose role is it to cook, clean, and maintain home? Generally speaking, whose role is it to pump gas? Whose role is it to provide financially? Should women prioritize marriage and family planning over career? Because what we're seeing now is women are going to school and getting their careers first. This is maybe we're not with millennials no more, but probably from millennials on, right? This is an issue that they're having. The women are educated, they're beautiful, they're doing their thing, they have their house already, but they can't get a man. So should they be prioritizing their career and financial status first? Should roles be flexible and based on individual strengths and talents or remain, y'all listening, primarily, that's the operative word. Should they remain primarily gender-based? Okay, think about order and society. Should roles be flexible and based on individual strengths and talents or remain primarily gender-based? Then do you identify as a traditional woman or a modern woman? And then the last question is, do you identify as a feminist? All right, let's do this quickly because we're at 6:49. Do we have the poll up?
Okay, Central Time.
Oh, I mean, sorry, 7. You see how early I'll be getting up for y'all?
Yes.
Charmaine, click launch on the poll.
Okay, I see the poll. Where do I see quick launch? Because I just pulled it up.
Right, so I don't remember where it is, but launch is on there somewhere.
There we go. Please, everybody, stop what you're doing and fill this out. Let's see where this community stands.
All right, how are we looking, Charmaine, as far as the percentages?
The results are still coming in.
There's a percentage there. How many people, what's the percentage of people that filled it out already? It's at the top.
78%.
All right. A few more. Let's go. Let's bring them in. Let's bring them in.
All right, so we're at 80%.
Nice, guys. I know it's a long one.
I also dropped it in the chat for those of you who might be having some difficulties with the poll, just so you can see some of the questions.
Okay, I am loving this.
Hi, this is Doreen. What happened? I was finishing the poll and it left before I could finish.
I think you guys stopped it, right?
At 80%, yeah.
Okay, so we stopped it at
Yeah,
80%.
Oh, okay.
If you feel comfortable, you can drop your answers in the chat.
Okay.
All right. So let's see where we stand, folks. Hold on a second. I'm just trying to steal my. Okay. So 82% of you said that you identify as human first. 55% of you said that it's either person's role to make the plate at the barbecue. 91% of you said that it's either person, man or woman's role to cook, clean, and maintain home. 55% of you said that it is the man's role to pump the gas. Hold on now. 64% of you said that it's either man or woman's role to provide financially.
You asked for honesty.
I'm loving it, but you guys see, we have mostly women in here, right? I think there's only one man in here. It's either to cook and clean and everything, but it's the man's role to pump the gas. That's what I was noting. Should women prioritize marriage and family planning over career? 55% of you said yes. Should roles be flexible? 100% think that the roles should be flexible. 55% of us do not identify as feminists. That's interesting to me. Can somebody who answered that as no, they don't identify as a feminist, let me know why? One person.
Greetings, I'll speak. And forgive me, maybe you gave the definition in the beginning of what a feminist is.
I did not
but,
on purpose.
Okay, because I just remember at one point when I was much younger, I said yes. And then I read an article and the article is basically saying, as women of color, we have to be very careful with that whole feminist role, because that wasn't really something that, was shared with us, that we came up with or was shared with us. It was more like a white woman's role. And to remember that at the end of the day, this country pretty much protects white women, so that's why I kind of said no. But if you could share the new role, the new term for feminism, that would be great as well. Because maybe I'll change my mind.
I can't, because I don't know what it is, child. Who am I speaking to? I can't see who was just speaking.
Us, Aaliyah. Greetings, everyone.
Greetings, Aaliyah. Yeah, honestly, I can't. That's one of the things that we're about to get into next.
Oh, Purple has a hand up.
Come on, Purple.
Yes, the term that I am familiar with is womanist or woman. Yeah, womanist is and Dr. Kennebrew is in there. I think Doc, I think you could come on and drop a little bit more than I could, but I know the term. And I don't want to speak on something I'm not informed enough about. And I'm complete.
Okay. Dr. Kennebrew, do you want to take her up on that?
I can, but I can't show my face.
Okay.
I can, I guess, it's all my sisters here. But I think it's kind of controversial. And that's the problem that we have with labels. I read something, some people have heard of Fela Kuti, a Nigerian, but his mother had said that she made a comment about being a feminist, right? And there are a lot of women of color who are feminists, but when you talk about the feminist movement, it became a predominantly white middle class movement. But the principles of feminism are things that I think we should look at, not necessarily the terminology and the labels. There's a sister who does a lot of work called, her name is Feminista Jones. She's very conscious, whatever that means. And she does a lot of work around talking about feminism and Black women. So there are different ways to look at it, but the concept that women and men should be equal, understanding that patriarchy, racism, and capitalism often go together, and we have to try and dismantle those systems of oppression. That's kind of what the basis of feminism is, but a lot of Black women started using the term womanism or womanist, but to convey those same things. So I think it's not so much about the title, it's about the principles. But I would identify, and when I saw the term, I wanted to say womanist, but it was only a single answer. So I did pick feminist, because technically I believe in those principles. And I don't like labels, because either we live in an either or world, and most things are and I think that's really important, and we could go into a whole discourse, but
Okay.
we're not, yeah, I'm
Okay.
complete.
We're about to get into it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Before we get into this, let me just bid farewell to anybody who has to go. Watch the playback, because if you have to leave right now, you missing out. We about to get juicy, juicy, juicy. But have a good day. Thank you for coming and spending your morning with me. Be safe. Admin is going to drop my information in the chat. Don't forget to give so we can just grow this community, because I am so empowered by this community. I have taken on the name Changemaker, and I really want to bring about necessary change. And this is such an important topic. We had to go into a 1A. So again, thank you. If you have to go, have a great day. And Abby, can you bring up the next slide? Because I want us to look at some disparities. We talked about a lot of things. There's a lot of different perspective here. Regardless of what we're doing or how we're doing it, this has remained the same. And this is across the world, okay? This is a pay gap graph, and you have Canada on here, the UK, US, China, and France. And as you can see, there's a disparity here, especially in the US, because US women, especially Black women, are the most educated. They hold the highest degrees. They have the most earning potential, but they're not making the most money, okay? This is what the statistics say. I don't know if you guys agree, but this is what it is. Everybody see this? Let's go to the next slide. Let's talk about the US and education. Everybody tells you education is key. Get your education. But if you're a female, you still come out on the bottom, okay? So you see the light blue is compared to male population, the dark blue compared to average population. Less than high school diploma, some college. Female pay gap by education level. Do you see these numbers, people? Yes, anybody have anything to say about what we're seeing? I want to hear from you guys.
Martine, hi, this is Tanine. I can't raise my hand, but can I say something?
Absolutely.
Okay. One of the things that you mentioned is that women are getting an education, but the male population is dominant when it comes to, I guess, financial wealth. What I noticed in this conversation is that in today's world, what's being highlighted is women being educated, women getting degrees, women making more money, but they're not talking about this in the media. They're not talking about that the men are still making the money with less education. And if you throw race in there, then that's another conversation because we know what's really going on. But women are being highlighted today, especially Black women. So it's sort of like this smoke screen going on where they're talking about us in a positive light. We're making the money, we're the CEOs, we have the doctorate degrees. So they're painting this picture that we have it together, and not that we don't, but what's really going on is what's on your screen. The men are making the money and the white men are making the money if we need to go to that level. So I just want to say that. And it's harder for us to get our foot in the door without the letters behind our names. And then it depends on, I'll go deeper to where I went to college. If you have darker skin or browner skin or just all of these different physical attributes, those things become barriers to get you where you want to be. Thank goodness that we create our own path now. We create opportunities for ourselves, but the systems are still in place. And that's what I wanted to speak to. The systemic racism, biases, discrimination, all of those things that were before, they're still happening, but they're not highlighted right now. So thank you for letting me share.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's what I love, the co-creation. That is exactly it. Yes, that's all you hear is how great Black women are doing because they have these degrees. But not only are they not making the money that they could make, or that men who don't have the degrees that they possess make, but they're alone too. We are still statistically the most unmarried, and now not even now, this has been forever, undesirable group. Okay, after us is Asian men. So it's a lot to unpack and a lot to think of, and I just want the community to just look at all the factors, because I really want the real change I want to see, y'all, is salvaging the Black family. That's really what I want to see. Alternative family styles included, right? I want to minimize single motherhood. I want our children to have a better experience than what the stats are saying they are having. And I know that you can't totally trust statistics, but people, they don't come from nowhere, right? Chantel, I see you have your hand up.
Also forgot what I was gonna say. Damn. It was, okay, go back a little bit. What were you saying?
We were talking about the pay. The pay difference between men and women, the fact that women, particularly Black women, hold the degrees.
Got it. Thank you. So I've noticed that my grandmother, she's not too happy with the fact that I put that before my career, before having children and getting married. For me, those things, either they'll come when it's supposed to organically, but she wants me actively out there looking for a man and all of this. And she's could be very like, she's slick with it, but she, she's like, you're messing up my family tree and my leaves and all these things. And she said the other day, these young women, they want to put their careers first and stuff. And it was just kind of like a backhanded insult because that's what I want to do. And I don't know if that's because of her mindset being an older woman or if she has some resentment there that she couldn't do that. And it's like, y'all do what you want to do. You don't have kids, but for her, having kids and a family was and is a priority. So when we have those conversations, she's not really trying to hear that. And I don't know if it's because to her, it's like, yeah, we wanted to do that, but it wasn't an option during my time, or she just like, that's not a woman's role. So I just wanted to share like some of the hate coming from Grams because I want to put my career first.
And that's mixed because you have a lot of older people who tell women, go get your education. And maybe they didn't foresee that as a result. And I don't know what those hard stats are as far as the women who do go to college right after high school, they start their career, how many are unmarried. But in my personal life, I do see that this is an issue. And it has a lot to do with how men receive our success. And we're going to get into that in a second. We almost have to dim our light in order to have a man. That could be one perspective. Mm-hmm. Another perspective is maybe we need to soften up. So we're going to get into all of that.
Yes, I just want to clarify. I just want to clarify, Tanine, women, I was saying that in New Jersey, no one can pump gas except the employees at the gas station.
That's true.
And I've never seen a woman employee at the gas station to pump gas. That's what I mean. That'd be nice if just women couldn't.
I've never seen one either.
So that's what I was saying. Like no one's ever come up to the car and pump gas in New Jersey for me. That's what I was saying.
I never thought of that. I've never seen a female gas pump.
Yes.
And Village, if I can.
Yes.
Martine and Village, I feel compelled to add that we risk, grandma's not exactly wrong, sis, because we do risk, the longer we wait in pursuit of career, etc., the longer we wait, there are much difficulties with fertility. Yes. The older we are. Mm-hmm. So there is that, and by the time perhaps we start to, realize that, mm-hmm. It sometimes is too late. And doing all of that, trying to get the egg fertilized outside of the body is expensive and painful, mm-hmm. So it's, I think they're warning us because they understand that there's this valuable thing called family and progeny. And what a beautiful thing it is to have the privilege to do that if one decides to do so. When you can't have it, I've seen people in pain over not being able to have that thing that they now desire.
Right.
I'm
and
complete.
We had that conversation where she says, the longer you wait. I definitely had that conversation. I think for me, it's more so her just not understanding or trying to understand where I'm coming from, that I do want to do that first. Yeah. Thank you, Candace. I appreciate you bringing that in the space.
Individuality, talents, nature. Yeah, we have to be practical too. Okay, Purple, then Teresa. I want to hear from you guys. Let's try to keep it short because I'm telling you, the next piece, y'all really going, Come on, Purple.
All right. Interestingly enough, I get the mixed messaging around education because after education is like you got to apply that thing, get that experience, get that career. But yes, it's actually best for us to have children younger. And I think we also therefore have to work on the narrative around teenage parents, right? And the shame that comes when someone's a teenage parent, when technically their body is better than, right? So the grandparents' generation understood and experienced that more. Now, that's maybe where the generational exchange can come in about, look, education first, and education means the experience after in order for me to really grind out here. I think the other thing I see with communities, or two things I want to drop out here and let you deal with that in part two, is I see, and I know for myself, right, and my peers, I think there's a difference in the Northeast than being socialized in the South.
Absolutely.
And so I definitely know my friends from the South all pretty much got with their man in college and got married then, right? And they're still married, shout out to them, doing all of that. there's this other piece where it comes to finance and capital. As a single woman, I'm 43 years old, and my first apartment I had when I was 17. I noticed some of my white colleagues stay at home, stack that coin, go to college, get the career, but still live at home until later on. And so that savings account, and they don't leave until they're married. So that dual income, that purchasing a home with the 20% down first, plus parents contributing, makes for a very different legacy, very different financial experience. So there is that place where I'm like, yo, my homies that got married, it was with their man right out of school, like their financial experience and mine, two different worlds. And some of the, I want to say, to be sensitive, some of us are leaving home because what home is like, because that woman landing on us or the ish that be happening in the family, you got to go. So there's that. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen with our white counterparts, but what happens with women of color and girls of color, like we have to go sometimes.
Yeah. The support
And I'm complete.
for the white woman within her household looks a little different too. Now, of course, we can't make blanketed statements, but we spoke about that last time too, when I told you guys about the 3 anesthesiologists, the Puerto Rican one, the Black one, who was also from Africa, grew up in Canada, lives in America now, and then the white woman. I was in that white woman's office crying when she talked about her experience, and I compared it to my own and the other 2 doctors. She makes more money than her husband. He worships the ground that she walks on. He is not ashamed to, at the barbecue, to make her plate and say, yeah, my woman makes more money. But that's also too, because in society, he's held higher, right? So there's a lot to unpack here. All right, short guys, because I never want to deny y'all. Come on, Teresa.
Hey, peace and bless. This conversation is great. The other thing that I see too is that there's a lot of proving themselves when it comes to women. It's like sometimes the pressure for you to be, like such a, like, to have to be out there making money. So it's like you're not allowed to be who you are sometimes in some of these societies. So but I understand the thing about, having children and stuff like that, because like my grandmother, she worked and she had like, they grew up in a different, my grandmother was she used to pick cotton. So my grandma would have a baby and then they would go back out to work. So they didn't stop like having children, but they went back to work right away. So it's a lot of stuff too that they had possibly, that my grandmother had that that I didn't have, because my grandma was working from a child. That's all I saw was my grandmother working. But then when the way the new system, the way, like you said, like what Purple said about how people are kicking their kids out at a certain time, like in our families, that's not always a privilege for you to stay home with your parents. So you're like, oh, you're grown, you're 18, get out, go get on your own. So, and it's not just with white families. A lot of other cultures keep their kids to stay in the house until they stack up and get what they need. But our Black culture is like, get out, you old, get out, So that's another too why people feel like they have to possibly, that might be another why people have to prove themselves and get jobs, because they have to become so mature at a young age. So they just get used to that money. Like if you can make money or have a husband, sometimes that money looks a lot better because the way that you've grown up. And I'm complete.
Absolutely. Yep, good points. Dr. Kennebrew, come on, man. Let's go. Say you beautiful.
All right. I was just saying that when we were talking about getting married versus education, part of the reason why it's an either or is because of the first thing we saw on the artwork, because the burden always falls on the woman. So she has to do it either or. If things were balanced, then you could do it wouldn't necessarily be an either or. And that's why all of these, and when you're talking about the disparities in the income, that's the system of oppression. That's not that we shouldn't do it. And I think, again, it becomes an either or. I can't say I'm not going to get education because women don't make as much, but we have to recognize that's the patriarchy, and patriarchy, capitalism, misogyny, misogynoir, all of these things run together. We can't be women in it. That's the intersectionality, and You know, all women, and then we have to also realize that all women don't want children. I know it's hard to accept.
It's
And
true, but that's the individuality piece of it, right?
right, this assumption. And my goal in life is to see my great grandchildren. But if my granddaughter, I always tell her, well, if you choose not to have children, I guess I'll just live forever, because I don't want to die until I see my great grandchildren. There's no pressure. She just graduated from Howard Friday on Sunday. So I'm not saying go get married. She didn't even have a boyfriend. And so again, these are things that we just have to change our way of thinking. You know, just because something's been done that way, our grandmothers, our great grandmothers, our great great grandmothers, we don't know if they were willing to do it or they felt they had to do it. And so, you know, I don't use this is how it's always been as a reason to continue to do things, right? We got to make a new world. We don't know why grandma did what she had to do. We don't know whether that was by choice or by compulsion or by lack of opportunities. And so we just can't assume that that's the way it is. And I would love to have great grandchildren. But if my granddaughter and my grandson decide not to, then you know, I'll see you around next time. I'm not pressuring them one way or the other.
Okay.
And I'm complete. And my parents didn't pressure me. You know, I was not socialized to get married and have a husband, even though I've been married 3 times, but that's another story. But you know, I was not socialized to get married. I was socialized to live my life the best I could, however that looked.
Okay,
And
thank you. Let me cut you off because you segueing perfectly into what I'm gonna get into. And I hate cutting people off, but Ken Yosin's gonna be on me. Okay, it's 7:17, and I'm telling you, y'all gonna have more to say. But to piggyback off of what you said, a lot of times too, people say, oh, people were married for longer. They respected marriage more. And to piggyback off of what you said, but we don't know what that woman was going through in that marriage, right? Because she felt that pressure. There's a lot of women who were abused, head banging up against the wall. It still happens, but we don't know, because a lot of times people say, I've never heard my mother complain. What does a mother look like complaining to their child or in front of their child, right? So that you're right, there's a lot of things that we don't know. Patriarchy, capitalism, let's get into it, all right? Y'all asked me, what is feminism? Okay, this is from my favorite resource, Wikipedia. Don't laugh at me. The feminist movement, also known as the woman's movement or feminism or womanism, womanist, whatever, refers to a series of social movements and political campaigns for radical and liberal reforms on women's issues created by the inequality between men and women. Such issues are women's liberation, reproductive rights, domestic violence, maternity leave, equal pay, right to vote, sexual harassment, and sexual violence. The movement's priorities have expanded since its beginnings in the 1800s and vary among nations and communities. Priorities range from opposition to female genital mutilation in one country to opposition to the glass ceiling in another. There are 4 waves of feminism. The first addressed middle or upper class white women and involved women's right to vote and political equality, education, right to property, organizational leadership, and marital freedoms. The second wave attempted to further combat social and cultural inequalities and brought in women of lower social class, women of color, and women from other developing nations that were seeking solidarity. The third wave continued to address the financial, social, and cultural inequalities of women in business and in their home lives, and included renewed campaigning for greater influence of women in politics and media. In reaction to political activism, feminists have also had to maintain focus on women's reproductive rights, such as the right to abortion. 2022. The fourth wave feminism examines the interlocking systems of power that contribute to the social stratification or ranking of traditionally marginalized groups. Okay? That sounds great, right? Well, where did we take the feminist movement? what did it evolve into? I'm going to go over a few perspectives, and then I want to hear from y'all. I'm going to try to do this quickly. All right. First one, the white male Democrat. Okay. The US welfare system constructed by the Great Society programs, the Great Society programs, not racism, that explains the plight of many Black Americans. Democrat US Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan warned at the time that the welfare system Democrats were putting in place would destroy the Black family. As he predicted, the war on poverty decimated the African-American family and created a self-perpetuating underclass of single mothers and fatherless children. A community, he said, a community that allows a large number of young men to grow up in broken families dominated by women, never acquiring any stable relationship to male authority that community asks for and gets chaos. But the welfare bureaucracies set in place were not able to let go of what was valuable to them. The real problem was not waste and welfare queens living extravagantly at the public's expense, but money spent on turning Black children into criminals, addicts, dropouts, and rioters, thus creating more problems requiring more government intrusion. The appearance of radical feminism exacerbated welfare's destruction of the Black family by glorifying female independence and single mother homes. Having driven away Black fathers and financial bribes to women, the welfare system then shifted costs to fathers. Deadbeat dads were criminalized and imprisoned under child support laws. So this perspective says that the downfall of the Black family was welfare and feminism. And what I want to know from you guys, I have a couple more perspectives. Do you guys think that the evolution, not the core, what I just read, the feminist movement was, but the evolution of the feminist movement caused the downfall of the Black family? Let me get one person, because we got to move on. Who's burning to?
I'm burning. This racist bullshit.
Racist bullshit.
How about I say no? How about let's look at slavery? Let's look at the intentionality behind the destruction of Black families. How about we don't get the welfare? The welfare queens are white. How about more white people get welfare than Black people? All these programs that they created were to program us to be what we're being now. So no, it's not because women work. We don't have a choice. No.
Okay. Thank you,
and
Gina.
I'm complete.
Tracy Ann, I'm gonna let you speak because we haven't heard from you.
No, I was gonna say I'll go later on in the conversation because I have so much to say about everything that you were talking about. But Gina said exactly what I was gonna say. Exactly.
Okay, so I'm gonna come back to you then.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna go on. This is still the same perspective. It should not be anti-feminist to recognize that men and women do not need each other, and that contrary to feminist theories, marriage is a key pillar of stability for both sexes and especially for children. Feminists greeted unwed parenthood and easy divorce as steps on the ladder of liberation. For some, it was and is, but the price has been steep. Women are commonly worse off financially after divorce than their ex-husbands. Those who worked before, during, or after their marriages experienced a 20% decline in income after divorce, compared with men whose incomes rose by 30%. 40% of American children are now born to single mothers. This rate of non-marital births, combined with the nation's high divorce rate, means that around half of all American children will spend part of their childhood in a single-parent household. Social scientists across the political spectrum agree this family chaos is destructive. In 2017, the poverty rate for women-headed families with children was 36.5%, compared with 22.1% for father-only families and 7.5% for families headed by a married couple. And abundant data shows married adults are happier, healthier, and wealthier than singles. I don't know if we can totally denounce this perspective. And I'm reading fast and I'm saying a lot. Go back through the playback, and that's really, I don't know. All right. The white Christian female anti-feminist perspective. And this is just one person, okay? I'm just bringing some perspective into this. So she quotes Tim LaHaye. This 7 effects that feminism has had on the family. 1, it creates unnecessary competition between husband and wives. 2, it blurs the distinction between the sexes. 3, it creates unnecessary dissatisfaction with being a housewife and mother. 4, it causes insecurity in women. 5, it destroys femininity. Feminism destroys femininity. 6, it causes insecurity in men. And 7, it makes children insecure. Now she says, can you now clearly see how opposed to God's will feminism is? Feminism has blurred the distinction between the sexes by getting rid of the roles for men and women. This has resulted in chaos. It's made out to be such a wonderful thing for women, but all it has done is cause destruction in its wake. Feminism is the complete opposite of God's will for women. Black feminist queer perspective. I'll take you right after this, Adam. I was told that feminism was a CIA program led by Gloria Steinem to persuade Black women away from Black men. As a reward, according to Hoteps, Black women would receive government assistance and office jobs. Black feminism was created not because of the government, but to correct the issues in white feminism. Despite the radical loyalty Black women have had in the past, they could not bring their feminism to the Black community. Systemic racism kept many people of color out of the job market or being in head positions. Black men wanted patriarchy comparable to that of the white man, but they lacked the resources. Hyper-masculinity took over Black manhood and substituted for the lack of a systemic Black patriarchy. In reality, family was not something Black men were interested in creating, which led to the stigma of Black single motherhood. Adam.
Whew. It's a lot to unpack here. The question that you asked before, if I think that feminism has destroyed the Black family, I have to say yes, because it's being promoted in the media, it's being promoted in Hollywood, it's being promoted on social media. I mean, when you go online, you will see things and see commercials, especially that emasculates the Black man, that don't value the Black man, and how we're conduct ourselves and how we're being portrayed in society and whatnot. So yeah, I believe it has put a division between the Black man and the Black woman, because especially when it comes to the mother being the leader of the household in single motherhood. Because if the feminine movement really cared about women so much, then how come they haven't addressed the fact that they have so many women out of wedlocks and so many women that are in chaos? So I don't think the feminist movement has done a great job to develop women, and I'm complete.
Okay. All right, Ali, I'm going to come to you in a second. The Black male anti-feminist but for reform of feminism, partnered with his wife. Perspective. 26 million two-paycheck families, most working women still get stuck with the housework. Predictably, the disparity is showing up as a leading cause of divorce in two-income households. If sameness is to be synonymous with equality, then God was the original sexist. As it turned out, the Hares, this couple, support women's rights, but claim the issue has been misused in a way that has hurt family life, especially Black family life. So family life in general, but especially Black family life. Unisexualization is their word for the way society is trying to emasculate the Black male and defeminize the Black female, which creates sexual conflict. The women's liberation movement has mainly helped white women take jobs that could have gone to Black men. The women's liberation movement has not served Black people well, even though a lot of Blacks were brought into the movement. What we need is a new Black feminism. The solution: rebuild a good image of nurturing. Many working women and men, for that matter, would love to stay home, but don't because society has degraded the role. The highest form of labor anyone can do is to produce socially accepted adults. But we keep saying the only way you can gain social importance is by outside employment. Aliyah.
Thank you. I'm in transit, so I'm outside. But I just wanted to just jump on what Brother Adam is saying. There was a quote that I recently heard, and it says the quickest way to destroy a people, destroy a race, is to destroy the male seeds, right? So, you know, I have my drama, whatever, my soon to be ex-husband, but I have to admit that society really does break down the Black man. And when that happens, or when that happens, you know, there was ill ramifications for the entire Black family, right? So we kind of need to just take a step back, and I say we mean in society, and just remember who's feeding us the juice, right? Because you don't see white women, even though they're feminists, they don't tear down their men, right? They don't tear down their men. And as a matter of fact, their men protect them. I mean, yes, there's some ills, but for the most part, their men protect them. So I just wanted to say that the quickest way to destroy a race is to start with the destruction of the male seed. And I'm complete.
Thank you. Thank you for the co-creation, because on that note, the Black man, undecided perspective. But then there's the other, but then this is his reaction to Black feminism. But then there's this other part of me, a part I don't like to admit. There are times certain ideas of Black feminist thought make me feel emasculated. And that's difficult to bear because I know that word is beyond problematic. But I have to be honest with the way I feel before I can change it. One thing I am sure of is this: every man who comes to feminism for answers is a man who can redefine his manhood. This endeavor can be liberating and transformative. It can also call question to personal truths and raise defenses. Slaying the dragon of internalized patriarchy is hard because it is a beast that doesn't want to die. And to be honest, sometimes we don't want to kill it. But it's up to Black men to look into our hearts, to ask these tough questions and reach a better understanding of our identity as men. All we can ask for Black feminists is to give us a push in the right direction. Black female feminist perspective. This is one person. We have lost the Black family, and the divine feminine is how we get it back. But Black women are too busy trying to be a boss. There, I said it. Don't get me wrong. We fought hard to get into the workplace and to levels where men previously ruled the roost. Somewhere on that journey, we forgot to take care of our families. We have allowed the idea of the Black family to decay and practically disappear. Grandma is now in her late 30s and still trying to chase a man in the streets. She's no longer the older woman whose age you never knew, who stuffs peppermints in your mouth, and who had you on the back porch peeling shrimp and shelling snap peas. Mom is too busy in the car singing trap music with her kids and changing her filter on Snapchat. Our Black families are withering away and damn near non-existent. And it's because we refuse to live in our divine feminine. Women are too busy trying to be a boss, living in masculine energy. I am pro-woman. I am a woman unapologetically, always have been. But because of that, I believe in the synergy between masculine and feminine energy. It is scientifically proven that as humans, we possess both energies. The universe thrives off of compliments, these compliments. Either way, you see mama isn't happy. You internalize her beliefs. She may have even given you advice. Her and Big Mama, they tell you that men are useless and that if you get married, be prepared for him to cheat and run around town because that's what men do, right? No, that's what the man that Mama and Big Mama chose did. That does not have to be your life. But it is because you now believe that men are expendable, useless. So when you are out dating, you either have low standards or minimal to no expectations for successful relationships. In order to date, you may even pay for a man's affection or attention. You pay for dates, vacations, all the bills in the house, and you do it because you are an independent woman, right? You can handle your own. Yes, that fact is true, but when the relationship is over, you go into a man rage. Men are no good. You don't need a man. You can do bad by your damn self. The truth, you chose one that was immature, and it was because you weren't all the way whole. Your perspective on relationships is skewed and formed through the lens of negative experiences based on someone else's experience. And now you go and recreate that experience. Let other women who have been hurt, shamed, abused, misled assist you in forming your opinion and belief regarding relationships. And so when you go and choose a boy, an immature man-child, you touch and agree with all that you have learned, and the cycle starts again. But there is a way to break it, the divine feminine. I'm not speaking here about being a feminist or a womanist, not necessarily. If as a woman you are necessary in the home, why is the man not necessary? This very thought process has our homes off balance and out of order. It instills in our boys that they are expendable and replaceable. That is until Black Lives Matter. It is up to us as women to bring back the Black family, and we do it with our divine feminine, a concept that speaks to our interconnectedness. Feminine energy is nurturing and thrives on the connection to nature, a higher power and wisdom. Women are the light in the household, the peace. Our power is an intuitive power, one that is sensual and the basis of life force. It is creative, and its very essence dictates that as humans, we are not separate from each other. We cannot exist without one another. Over time, this dynamic energy has been suppressed and silenced. As women, we fought back by wanting to dominate and take over. So now we have a society of women who live in masculine energy. We live in wanting to boss up and take control. And while that may work in the workplace, it does not create balance in the home. Our young boys have mothers who are overly sexual versus living in their sensuality. A man can find sex anywhere. As a matter of fact, many still pay for it. Finding a woman who is sensual is not easy. Walking in our divine feminine requires a divine masculine counterpart, a respect for the balance and the synergy between the two. The moment we as women understand the true power in our feminine reaches, the moment we as women understand the true power in our feminine reaches far past our vagina and sexual prowess, we can walk in the power that will rebuild and revitalize our families. Until then, ... Let me hear from Erica Bradshaw, and then just because Teresa, we have not heard her voice, it's 7:40. I was giving it until 7:40. Hurry, Erica.
Okay. Okay, I hear all this. Good morning. It's nice to meet y'all. My name is E. I just didn't change it on the thing yet. I'm a little fascinated at this because it puts the idea of the feminine above the humanity. And I say this because recently I've been having a lot of mental health challenges. And the advice that I get from the greatest Black women that I know is about soldiering on, about getting tough, about how we can get through and we can bear it all. And I say to that, no more. I'm not bearing it all. I'm not tough. I'm not strong. I want to cry and be weak and feel, because I have been trained my whole life not to. My mother's motto was, there's no time for a breakdown. And I think that there's a piece that we really need to focus on before we get to the family, before we get to the masculine and the feminine and all this binary, which is also a product of white supremacy, is how do we heal ourselves mentally? Because we are a race that is deeply pained and mentally unwell. And of course we are. Of course we are. We're still getting abused. We're every day. Even, and I have a situation with work where we're being forced to suck down these DEI and all this radical training that is not done for us. It's done for the lens of whiteness. It's not done for the healing of Blackness. So I hear all of this, but I also hear it and I keep thinking, we are such a hurt people. Yes, strong. Yes, beautiful, all that. But when do we get to cry, right? We talk about white women tears. Why can't I cry? I need to cry. I'm sad. I'm hurt. I've taken all this for 47 years. And I think if we feel our humanness, all the other stuff is we already got. So thank you for allowing me to speak. And thank you for this. All of this information is beautiful.
Thank you. And I always say, I answer that question, am I a feminist? No, I'm a humanist. Because if I'm a humanist, I'm for women too. So yeah, there has to be balance. And that's why I wanted to read all of these perspectives. I really hope that you guys take away something from each of them. Shawnee. Hey, lady.
Hi. Good morning, everyone. Oh God, there's so much to say about this doggone conversation. But what I'll start is from the spiritual, because that's what the foundation of my leadership, my partnership with folks. Like without that, who you would get is a facsimile of me. So I question and push back up against the conflation of feminine divine and masculine divine and social, the social constraints of gender roles and gender norms. The masculine and feminine and divine, while there might be an intersection between them, we have gotten that so twisted. And I see in the chat, some folks have made reference to that we possess both energies inside of us, and the norms, like who goes out to work, who fixes the car, who pumps the gas. Like I know for myself that there's a lot of masculine spiritual energy in me, and that drives how I lead, how I speak, my purpose, as well as the feminine spiritual energy in me. And when we start to conflate them, it creates a lot of confusion. I don't disagree that there's an energy around competition, but I don't believe that comes from us being wrong or being competitive. I feel like this society creates, this US society, this white society creates so much confusion. They switch up the rules and the expectations. And we chase after that, or have chased after that. And it has done damage to us, because if you're trying to be part of a system that wasn't built for you, if you're trying to be a part of a system that actually is trying to dehumanize you, then you're only doomed to fall apart and to unravel and to be in a space of chaos, and then also a space of unhealthiness and dis-ease. So I just want to put that out there. The article that you just read, while I get some of the points, I just feel without the foundation of understanding of what actual masculine and feminine divine are, that we just created more confusion and judging ourselves as Black and brown people, because that's mostly what's on this space, and then definitely as women. But I will say this, I'll say this quickly and then get off because I know time is of the essence, that because of this society and the images that I saw growing up, I'm 53 years old, that I saw folks that didn't look like us accomplishing love and relationship, even though it was illusion, love and relationship. I know their shit is toxic as well. I saw a lot of images that made me feel like less than, and also that I had to pursue particular things in order for me to have value. And those images and that mindset didn't come from me. It didn't come inside of my Black home. It came outside of my home. And then we all were impacted by that. And like everybody was said, systems were put in place to destroy the Black family. And we are just trying to catch up. And it's hard to catch up when people don't acknowledge the trauma that we've experienced, even as ourselves. And then also acknowledge that systemically, we've been behind in the race for, and I don't mean race meaning Black, I mean in the race of life, because of things that have been set up in these systems. I don't even know, Martine, how much can we say we're behind? By 400 years? I don't know. Others in the space can say, but we have to be really, really careful about this analysis, because without all the
especially when they're highlighting other things.
Yes.
Like Black women's education. Yeah, because
Yes.
we are, as a people, still way behind.
Yeah, and I feel like the biggest, like the sister that was just speaking before me, if your mind and your spirit is toxic from all that's coming at you, it's hard to achieve educationally. It's hard to be in the family and show up. And talking your article was talking about how we need to be softer. How the fuck? Like, it's hard to be soft. Like, I think about my own kids. I was just trying to fucking survive as a 20-something-year-old trying to raise my daughters, and then eventually as a 30-something having my son. And I wasn't even conscious of it. And I was so mean and hurt. But that didn't come from me just being like that. That came from all of my experiences over the course of my life, and microaggressions and being gaslit. And I didn't realize it until I got the consciousness about how whiteness works and how misogyny and patriarchy works, what actually happened to me. So I just want to put that into the conversation and just say, I'm grateful that you brought all of this stuff up. We need to have more conversations like this. And I'm complete.
Absolutely. And one thing that we're all different here. We looked at that picture and we have so many different perspectives. And where do we start? We start with ourselves. I know one thing, after hearing Adam talk, after having a conversation with a male who I was dating, who was so brutally honest, oh my God, he is so honest. And he explained to me the appeal, like there's a lot of soldiers who go to Thailand and they have sex with what they call the man boys down there. And he said that he found it so hard not to be attracted to them, especially because those other soldiers were making it a norm. Now, if he did engage in sexual activity, he didn't tell me, but it was hard for him because they were so feminine, and he compared one of them to me. And that was very hard for me to stomach, but it is something that I understand now, how I sometimes unintentionally, intentionally emasculate in the things that I do. So, I'm looking at myself, I'm analyzing myself and trying to see what I did to contribute, because you're right, Shawnee, we have these experiences and we need to honor them. But regardless of the trauma, we can always change, right? And it does start too with our own mental health. And it's just a layer of things. All right, community, can we hear from Tracy Ann? Because I promised her, please, and then you're going to close us out, Tracy, and then I have to give it up.
I don't, thank you so much for bringing up this topic and for remembering me. I'm at work, so I can't, and my phone about to die on top of it all. But I was gonna say, I feel like when you having the universe or God or however, whatever you believe, has a way of bringing things to you. And when you find yourself being triggered by conversations or something someone says, I've learned that you need to look at that and analyze that. And for me, I always looked at, I'm 36, so I always looked at in my 20s, being a woman was kind of like being weak. And I feel like now I'm starting to realize more and more why I was put into this world as a woman. And I think that if for me, when I was meeting or dating men that were overly masculine or had there's a term for it now, I forgot the name, but like overly aggressive
Machismo.
masculine energy. No, it's like a term. It's like overly aggressive masculine energy. It was because I was out of balance with my feminine energy. So I was being confronted with that about, I would hear the narrative of being a man feeling emasculated or all of those things. And I feel like now that I finally accepted all parts of me, the masculine and feminine part of me, I don't hear that conversation anymore. I don't hear that being brought to me anymore. And it's just like what Shawnee brought up about things being on a spiritual basis first, and us accepting the masculine and the feminine parts of ourselves, and us not making just one thing our whole complete narrative, whether it be race or being feminine or being masculine or any of those things. Like, we're a combination of several things. So it's important to not concentrate on any one of those things, because then you'll be out of balance. And I think accepting all parts of yourself as a woman, as going, and I don't even think I have enough time to explain what I really mean, but just this life is a journey, and all the things that come to us are all the difficulties that, for lack of a better term, that may come to us, or challenges are not meant for us to overcome. But I think in a way they're meant to teach us lessons and things that we have to accept and graduate from, if for lack of a better way of putting it. And I just appreciate you bringing up this conversation, because I think that a lot of us have issues with racism, with being out of balance as mothers, being out of balance as Black women, feeling like we're not making, or any, whatever you are, or feeling like we're not making the right decisions during life. I heard someone talk about like, if you concentrated on your career and you didn't concentrate on motherhood or getting married. And I think all those conversations are conversations that you need to have with yourself to figure out what is it that you want to do, so that when people say things that feel like kind of trigger you, you'll understand why they're triggering you. Those are conversations you need to have with yourself, and everything is on a personal level. And with that being said, I always appreciate your talks and what you bring to the table, and I'm complete. Thank you so much for this conversation.
Thank you, community. We have to go. I'm in trouble probably, but listen, the divine feminine is strength. Everything that you just said, Tracy, is so true. And we really do need to look at all aspects of this. Please sit with these perspectives, because you can get something out of each of them. The white Democratic one too. It's really a big picture and a lot to unpack. We're going to move on from the women, and we're going to go to the men in part 2 next week, Thursday. But I need some men in this space. Adam, bring your friends. Y'all promise me. I think my next session is next week, the 17th. Please, let's bring some men into this space, because it's all about the men. Part 2 is all about the men. Thank you all so much. I love you. I love you. I love you. All right, everybody. This is my contact information, my phone number, my Facebook page. I still need help with my Facebook page, and my email. We have no offer today, but if you want to reach out and work with me, I'm looking for partnership. I really, really want to change so much, and I need y'all to do it. There's so many wonderful minds in here. You guys brought so much perspective. Please get in contact with me. That's my offer. Love offerings and donations. We need to keep this thing going. We already know it's all about the green. Zelle, Quick Pay, soulleadershipdevelopment@gmail.com. Cash App, Spirit of a Woman. We're going to drop, it's already in the chat now. And code 585MM. Hashtag pound 585MM for the donations to come to me and my work that I'm doing out here. All right, please consider donating. We also have another option. If you're anything like me and you're like, where should my money go? I don't know. Sometimes I miss the sessions, but I want to bless a facilitator. guess what? We can spread the love, and you can do a monthly automated donation. Automated, then you don't even have to think about it anymore. You can choose 25 a month, 50 a month, 75 a month, 100 a month by using these following links. Take a screenshot. I think it's in the chat too. But let's, keep this going. Let's support. Put our money where our mouths are. Coming up for next week, starting Sunday, May 15th, Financial Abundance 30-Day Challenge Wrap-Up, facilitated by Cheryl Glenn, Catherine and Bali Green Johnson, Zakia Talib Bey, and Kamal Patah. Going to be a wonderful session. I'm going to get up on a Sunday for that. I'm an hour behind y'all. And it's Roots Week. Yes, we started getting to the root of this issue. So next week, when we do part 2 Thursday, remember, bring them in for Roots Week.
Thank you, Martine. And thank you, new members. If you're out there, please let us know. Don't hide, stand up, raise your hand, drop your name in the chat, say I'm new, and we welcome you. Let the community surround you and hug you. This is for you out there on Facebook also. So if this is your first time in Facebook, even if you've been coming to Zoom, but you're now in Facebook, you're new out there. So just be present, get acknowledged, and come back. We're here 5 days a week on Zoom, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, our long days from 7 to 8:30, and Monday and Wednesday, our short days from 7 to 7:30 in the morning. And we're always streaming live on Facebook. Now, if you want to receive text alerts to make your life a little bit easier, a text alert to remind you to get up in here, you can do this right now. Open up your text, type in 74121 in the telephone number section and Woo Nation in the comment section, press send, and boom, you are in the automated text alert. We have swag. We have a store. You can get your swag. Go to bit.ly/Woo Swag. Just put that in the browser. There's a link that's dropped in the chat. So follow that and you have a choice of thermos, mug, laptop sleeve, bag, journal, mask, sweatshirt, t-shirts, colors, sizes. Choose what works for you and sport Woo every day. We ask that you stay in touch. So many of you know to register every week, bit.ly/Wake Up Movement. If you're new and you didn't register because someone gave you the link, go to bit.ly/Wake Up Movement. Put your name in the form and you'll be put in our mailing list. And you need to do this every week because every week we have a new lineup. If you want to join our Facebook page, we have a private one and a public one. So the private one you need to join, bit.ly/Woo Community. And you will fill out some questions and then wait to be accepted into the space. In that space, you will see facilitators inviting you to special events or adding things onto their conversation. You can also watch the replays. On the public page, whatever communication is there, you can get bit.ly/Woo Nation, uppercase Woo Nation. You will go to that page and click like so that you can receive those notifications. We're on Instagram at Wake Up Everybody Virtual. We're on YouTube at bit.ly/Woo on YouTube. And the Y is uppercase. And we have an email that you can use to contact us for whatever, info.wakeupseries@gmail.com. And today is Thursday, so it's the invitation for you to join us to volunteer on the Wake Up Everybody team. The team is wide. I cannot stress that there's so many roles to play, more roles than you think, more roles than you see. It takes a lot to create this, and it takes a lot to sustain it. So the people that we have on board today might not be here tomorrow. So that means we need to fill in the space, because if that space is not filled in, then certain things are not going to get done. And if it doesn't get done, WOO will not be here. What does WOO mean to you? If you have any love for the information that you've gotten in WOO, really seriously consider how you can help. Your time to volunteer is based on what you can offer. So we're looking for all different types of talents and skills and interests and abilities. Email us info.wakeupseries@gmail.com to find out what that is exactly. And we'll be glad to accommodate. At this point, I'm going to stop the screen share. I'm going to ask everybody to unmute themselves and we can give Martina a love shower for this wonderful, wonderful, engaging, and almost never ending conversation. Here we go.
Thank you,
Love you,
Martine.
Martine.
That
Thank
was
you for
great. So
bringing
much
up
to
that
think
topic.
about. So much
Love
to
you.
look
So
within
thank
ourselves.
you.
And it's prompt.
So
So
many
thank you for
different
opening up the
Thank you, thank you, thank
perspectives.
you.
Thank you, Martine.
Beautiful.
Thank you, thank you, thank
Have
Have a
a
you.
great day,
wonderful day,
everyone.
everybody.
I
Yes,
love
we need to
y'all.
build the Black family, definitely.
Ashe.
Thanks, Martine, for this
Ashe.
presentation, and let's move forward, everybody.
Thank you for your courage, Adam.
Thank you.
I love y'all.
Have a good day, everybody. Love you.
Work on yourselves, everybody.
Absolutely.
Ashe.